You've built an entire business around agents at the tune of $1 million a year.
You don't have to like talk to the seller, kind of sign offer like live, so like it doesn't take time away from your actual work. You can just literally say, "Hey, I'm good with these terms. Can you lock it with the seller?" And they'll do the closing for you, right? So
yeah, you're not going on appointment. You're not sitting at the kitchen table while the seller's telling you their life problems. Like you're not doing any of that.
Right.
What's special about Hieu, guys, is he does the agent model, but to the 10th degree. Like he really has figured out how to do the agent model at a high level. And when I say a high level, guys, I'm talking about $1 million a year level just with agents. Now, recently, Hieu has introduced direct to seller. He's doing some PPC stuff, working with, I think, Brent Daniels and their team. So it's going to be exciting to see how you grow your business now direct to seller. But what I wanted Hieu to do, guys, was spend some time. And Hieu, thank you for graciously sharing your expertise. But Hieu does some things that are a little unique and different than I do with agents. You're much more stronger on the agent outreach. I do quite a bit with listed properties, which you and I talked about. And we made a goal when I was with you last that you were going to grow that part of the business a little bit more. So I'm excited to hear how that's going. But Hieu, I wanted you to break down for us and maybe delineate step by step exactly how you've excelled so well with agents, with no marketing budget, no direct to seller, none of these other marketing channels, strictly by building relationships with agents. You're now doing $1 million. Think about that, guys. Very few people I know are able to get to that level with just agents. I know a lot of people, and I have students that are doing quite well, but not to the tune of $1 million a year. I mean, that's significant coming strictly from agents. And what I love about this, Hieu, too, is it really shows the world, shows everybody listening to this right now, that direct to agent isn't just this like, oh, I'll do that till I can get a marketing budget because it's free, and then I'll transition into direct to seller, or, oh, working with agents, it'll get me a deal here or there. No, you've built an entire business around agents at the tune of $1 million a year. So this is very significant. I think everybody listening to this needs to pay really close attention. Make sure you're taking notes and make sure you're implementing these strategies that Hieu's going to share with us. So Hieu, maybe start from there. Like where does somebody who's getting started in this business, if they're going to start working with agents, explain to us maybe phase one of like what it takes to start to build traction, and then let's go eventually into how you scale to the level you're at.
So I probably just want to start off with like the end in mind, like because right now where I'm at right now, I just track dated back to like November 2023 when I first started tracking everything. We have closed 73 deals since then. The net revenue is 1.3 million across 73 deals, and the average assignment fee is 17.3K, which is higher than a typical
which is high for agents. Yeah, most people average around 5 to 10 with on wholesale assignments with agents, and you're averaging 17.
Yeah, 17.
Okay.
And to get to that, my team consists of like, I would say 2.5 acquisition managers. So like between like I have 2 full-time acquisition manager, and I'm like the half person because I'm covering for them when they're not available, and then also like I'm running numbers on the back end. So like I'm like a half person. But to get to those numbers, like really you only need 3 people, and just keep in mind that you can scale this if you want to, because I can always hire more rep, and like even if I'm accounting for their salary, like it should be like a 7x return, like with their salary included already. So you think about when you're doing PPC, typically you be pretty good if you're doing a 4x, return on ad spend, but then you still have to pay the sales guy to
acquisitions. Yeah.
Now with this model, because we don't have any marketing expenses, like I'm paying my guys well enough for what they do, and we're still getting a 7x return, accounting for their fees with the sales guys. So just
now, I will say, Hieu, you do have an unfair advantage from the rest of us in that I think your entire team is Vietnamese, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
so that's cool. So you've been able to tap into a labor pool in your home, your original home market, right? Which is kind of cool. When we get some time, I'd love to hear a breakdown on how you compensate your team. And then how people who are listening to this maybe can adjust those rates if they need to, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
or maybe not, but maybe we could understand that a little bit too. But
Sure,
guys, so you did that volume with really two full-time acquisitions people
sure.
plus you jumping in when you need to.
So that's the acquisition side, and we have a full-time dispo and like a junior dispo on the dispo side. So I count 1.5 on the dispo side,
Okay.
and 2 on the acquisition side. So
and you guys use Investor Lift quite a bit, right?
yeah, we use Investor Lift, Investor Base, and I'm using a product that's like a go high level based product where like they just text buyers and follow up
on your own list that you've created.
Yeah, and we can talk about it too. But I just for now, just focusing on the agent model. Now I first started doing this. Keep in mind, guys, it took a long time to build to this level, and I started out with just myself, like just like you guys, no tools, like no nothing, like no nobody. I started, I think, around like March of 2023, and it's really scaled up like until November 2023. So it does take like 9 months, but like once it's scaled up, like you won't have even have time to reach out to new agent because the existing agent like keep you busy enough. So like the goal is if you're doing it by yourself, I would say give yourself like a 6 to 9 month like time frame to like really like ramp up that pipeline.
Is that because it just takes time for the relationships to mature into deals? Yeah.
Yeah, because once you put it into the system, into your system, it takes between like 7-8 time touches until like they send you something that's worth looking at. So it just takes time to do up like a network.
Yeah, that's good. You need a 6 to 9 month. What Hugh's saying is a 6 to 9 month runway really to ramp up to where now all the work you did up front is starting to pay off because they're reaching back out to you with deal flow.
But I would say within the first 3 months, I found my first deal. So like, it's not like you have to wait 9 months to do one deal, but I'm just saying like for it to be a consistent, like, every month I'm going to have a deal, probably take about 9 months to get there by yourself. So step one is literally like what I do is I focus on, I don't even call listed properties like Jerry, because just when I first started out, all I'm doing is I'm pulling a list. So step one is basically I'm using a go high level system where it's just send the initial text, right? It says, hey, this is Hieu. I'm looking to buy a home. Like, can you call me back and talk about it? So I think where I'm different from most people is I don't call them right away, and I don't just text only, right? I text asking them to call me. So I just kind of warm up the call a little bit. But so like when they do ask me to call, then it's make the conversation a lot easier, because when you
and you're not telling them you're an investor. You're just saying I'm looking to buy a house.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So they don't know if I'm a retail buyer or I'm an investor until they talk to me. So
now how important do you think that is? Like, why do you not say I'm an investor?
Because investor, like, there's a lot of investors who reach out to them and waste their time. So they think investor, hey, that guy gonna make like 100 offers a day and then just lowball everybody. So like that's the like the perception that they have. So I'm trying to like not to lead with that, but like once I'm getting on the phone, I can like explain to them exactly what I'm looking for. I'm not really trying to waste their time, just trying to see if we can work together. And then it's flow a lot better if you don't mention you're an investor to begin with.
I think that's important because they may be thinking, oh, well, I don't have anything that an investor would want. I'm not going to call him or respond. Whereas every single agent, if someone says, I'm looking to buy a house, call me, every single one of them is immediately thinking, oh, great, I get to pick up a client as a buyer's agent. I'll go show them and sell them a house. Or maybe they have, so that's going to get a much better response from agents.
I really want to stress the point, like it's worked a lot better for me to do that than cold calling, because once you call them, like they're always doing something else. They pick up the phone and they got pissed off because they're at the groceries, like they taking the kids to like the soccer team or whatever. So like I always, like the way it flows is like, hey, my name is Hieu. I'm looking to buy a house. Can you call me back to help me out? Like, and then I sequence my, if they don't reply to that first text, what it does is it's gonna send them like within a few hours another text say, hey, could you help me out? Or probably not. So I'm thinking, would you be available to give me a call today? Like always ask them to call. Like that's the end goal, is not to text them all the way. The goal is always to get them on a phone call. But we have to text first because I'm texting probably 100 agents a day, and probably about 30 reply back, and then we spend time and talk to those 30, and then the next day we're gonna send another like follow up to the one that doesn't respond on the first day. Say, hey, are you still active with the license or not? And then that usually get them to reply within like the third or the fourth text is usually when most of them will reply.
So you'll send them how many texts before you stop sending them texts?
I'll send them 5 texts,
Okay.
and then the system kind of break for 60 days, and then send another 5 texts like after
Gotcha.
60, because they
Yeah.
might be out, out of the country. They might be, doing
Yeah.
something else within those 60 days. So like that's really my system.
Yeah. Or they might be busy and they're not looking for more clients or whatever. You just, so then you give it a 60-day rest and then you hit them up again.
Yeah, the system automatically do that because the way I program it is like it just hit these people, wait 60 days, and then just do it again. And when I'm saying system is really simple, guys. It's just like one automation that you put in. So like, hey, reach out 5 times, wait 60 days, and reach out again 5 more times.
Okay.
So
And then it automatically will stop texting them once they respond and you talk to them, take them out
yeah,
of the funnel and
yeah,
you start a conversation. Okay,
yeah.
great. So then once you text them and they call you, maybe walk us through how do you start that conversation?
Yeah, actually, let me just share my script with you guys right now. I do
Sure.
have, okay, so basically say, hey, Jerry, this is Hieu with HBI Realty. How you doing? And that, the HBI Realty is because I do have a license now, so like I asked them to say that just to get a vibe. I'm not also an agent, but like if you're not an agent, just say, hey, this is
Mm.
Lindsay. How's it going? You can just remove
Yeah.
this part.
Yeah.
Then whatever, and they say, hey, awesome. I'm contacting you because me and my partner are looking to buy another investment property in the Atlanta area here. Is that something you can help with? And then, they're going to say, yes, it depends what you're looking for. How can I help? Then we basically say, we're looking for properties with motivated seller that want to sell fast for cash or house that needs some work. And guys, the reason why I'm saying, house with motivated seller that want to sell fast for cash is because like we found that sometime like we can wholesale like good looking houses too if they're motivated. So like I don't wanna trap myself into like, hey, I only buy ugly houses. I can buy
Mm-hmm.
good houses if they have to sell quick for
Mm.
cash. So I lead with that. And I also say the reason because my partner has a construction team to help me fix up the houses after we buy them. And it's been difficult lately to find any properties on MLS. That makes sense. So like this part, I put it here because I don't want them to send me listed properties. So I kind of
Yep.
preempt them to say, hey, don't send me listed properties because I've seen it already. So like I say it like kind of a set away.
Now,
Um,
Hugh, sorry, when you say my partner has a construction team to fix and flip, you're referring to your cash buyers, right?
yeah, my cash buyer, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So see that, guys, because his cash buyers are his partners. In essence, they're your partners. You're on acquisition, they're on the exit, right? But that's a great way to frame that with agents is then later when they see an assignment, you can just simply say, yeah, my partner that does the construction, they're going to take title in their entity. And it's like no big deal. It's not even really, you don't even really have to treat it like wholesaling that much, right?
And then this is customizable because when I first started out, I do have a contractor that I work with, so I don't even say my partner. But then this is for my team who like they
Mm-hmm.
feel authentic if they say my partner have a construction team because they themselves like they don't have a construction team. So it just
Yep.
helps the acquisition manager feel more authentic saying it this way, so that they don't have to
Mm-hmm.
lie. So and then we say, so I thought I'd try you to see if you have any properties with motivated seller coming up. Again, like ask and bring up that words again, like keep their brain thinking. Or if you can ask around your office to see if you have any agent friends that have a house that need work about to hit the market. So this part right here, I'm not only asking them if they have something, I'm asking like, do they know anybody in the office that have an off market
Mm.
that hasn't hit the market? Because quite some time we found that like they would have something from their team that like haven't been even sent out. So like they would represent us as the buyer. So it's less good, but it's still better than like,
Mm.
not having anything. It's still off market. So I would say we do probably about like 10 to 20% of volume from just people representing us as a buyer from another agent. So it does happen
Great.
quite often. So that's if they say yes, or if they refer like if they reply somewhat positive to my initial question about helping me out. But if they let's say if they say no, they say something like negative. So I ask them if they have any properties about to hit the market, and then if they say no, then we basically say, hey, I'm gonna send you my contact information after we hang up, so you can save it. And if you have any properties in the future, let me know. And then we also pitch, I would love for you to write the offer for us, and this way you can keep both sides of the commission on all of your listings. So this is the
Yep. Double dip.
was
Yep.
referring to. We do say the benefit at the end, and then yeah, that's it. And then have a nice day. Nice talking to you. So like these are really simple. Anybody can do this. Like you don't
Yeah.
you need to know real estate to say the script. I would say when I hire a brand new person, it takes them 2 weeks to be really good at this part. 2 weeks is what it takes to
Mhm.
be really fluent on the phone with reaching out to agents and talk about deals. And one extra tip I'll tell you guys that if you are in a major metro and if you want to start out like with like not in the major metro but like the county that's like adjacent to the major metro, it usually work a little better because those agents are not being called like all the time.
Mm,
So, for example,
good
if you're in
tip.
Atlanta, then you might want to try 45 minutes away from Atlanta because those areas are still good. There's still buyers that still buy there, and but then the agent didn't get called like all the time because when an out of state investor want to do Atlanta or an out of state wholesaler want to target Atlanta, they would try to go into the Atlanta city first because that's all they know. But if you're local to your
That's
market,
a great tip. Let me rephrase that. So guys, I hope you caught that. So what Hugh's saying is he's saying if you go into the major metro markets and you target agents in those agents are being hit up by everybody. So it's going to be a little more competitive. But you have to remember cash buyers will go 45 minutes outside of the metro for their investing up to an hour, but you really don't want to go further than that. Otherwise it drops off drastically. So then what you do is you just go outside of the metro a little bit, 45 minutes, target agents in those little towns or cities around the metro. They're going to be getting called a whole lot less. And if you get a deal there, you're still okay because the metro buyers will still go to that deal because it's only 45 minutes away. Does that make sense? So it's a great way to really get some connections with agents in your market that are on the outskirts. So I love that. That's a great tip.
and from my experience talking to the agent on the outskirts, they are way nicer than talking to the
Mm.
agent in the actual city. For some
Yeah.
reason, I don't know why. It just does.
It's a little slower. They're not as busy, they're not getting hit up as much. So they tend to be a little more chill and a little more friendly. I agree.
And those agents on the outskirts, they do have listing in a city as well. Like they would
Yeah.
know their aunt, their uncle, their friends. Like they're gonna know somebody that have like they do listing an hour away all the time. So maybe when you're first starting out, like go to those agents first to like build up your skill because those agents are like more lenient towards you. But then
Hmm.
for me right now, because I'm doing this for so long, I can call up any agent just like Jerry and just I don't even care. I can show confidence to the agent that are
Yeah.
really picky. So maybe you want to do that after you have some experience talking to like the easier agents. So
Yeah. Great. Yep.
so that's step one, right? We follow the script, like assuming it's go positively, we put them into the pipeline, and then the way my system work is it's gonna text them every between 10 days and 30 days. So it's gonna send them basically like sort of for the first text is going to send out within 7 days. We call it follow up one. After that, it's going to send them another text within like 14 days. That's called follow up two. And then every time they reply to the text and they don't have any deals, it just bump them up to like the different stage of follow up, right?
Mm.
And then just text them automatically.
And what's that text say? Basically, hey, I'm just following up. We spoke last week, just checking to see if you got anything coming up, sort of like that.
So that's what I used to do
Yeah.
for all of my followers. But then like after that trip with you and Jamil, I started to change something up a little bit. So like every now and then I'll say, hey, what do you think about the market? What's going on right now? And hey,
Hmm.
what's up with the economy, right? Because you talk to people all day. I would love to hear your thoughts. Like just something to like incentivize them to reply. And
Yeah.
and it works amazingly. Like they always reply to that. Like
Yeah,
I
it's a disruptor. They're not expecting that. It's building more of a relationship. It's having a conversation. They're not feeling like you're just trying to get something from them. Yeah,
yeah.
that's powerful.
So something I'll say is like, hey, what do you think about economy? What do you think about the market? Should I buy? Should I sell? Do you need any help right now with contractor referral, whatever? I would love to see how, like, just trying to provide value to them a little bit too.
Hmm.
Right now, I'm trying to mix it in with like regularly, like, hey, do you have any deals? And of course, like when we ask them, what do they think about the market, and they reply, I'm still going to ask them, that's great, thank you for the information. What can I buy right now?
Yeah,
And we're still going to ask that after they reply to the question about the economy.
yeah, of course. Yep. Good. So that's 7 days, then 30 days. And then they just stay in that drip sequence, right? We call it a drip campaign where you just want to keep that touch point. Now, are you strictly doing text or are you doing any outbound calls to follow up with those agents?
So I have so many agents in my pipeline that I literally cannot call like that. I don't have time to call them. So like I only call them when they reply back to me with a deal, and I'll go ahead and call them at that point. So basically a text only until they send a deal. Then it's become strictly a phone call after that.
If you have the ability and you can put a low dollar cold caller in your system, you would see some better conversions if they did get a phone call. Ideally, if you could do it through your phone that they might have saved or whatever.
Yeah,
But getting that phone call, I mean, it's worth trying out, Hugh. You might get some more response.
right.
Maybe not every time, like mix it up, but agents tend to, my experience, now this is changing because of the world we're in. Texting's more and more common. But a lot of agents are very old school. They're very relationship driven, and you really can't get very far unless you're having conversations with them, is what I found, especially if they're older. They
Yep.
just won't really connect with you unless you're talking to them often. So anyway, just a thought.
That's a good thought, and I debate back and forth between that a lot, and then ultimately I pick between like, hey, do I spend time to call the agent, or do I just gonna call the new agent and just build up that pipeline so just
Yeah.
keep coming and coming. And because like I hammer the KPI on my acquisition manager quite a bit, and literally from like 9 to 5 p.m. like they only have time to call the
Yeah.
existing and make offers on the deals, like, or call you
Yeah.
guys. Like they do not have time to call on the follow up. So like that's the reason why I thought about it. Another good option is we probably can hire a cold caller and then just have that cold caller touch base with this agent once in a while. That would be a way to like go around that for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's clearly working what you're doing, but that would be maybe just something to test and just
Yeah.
see if it's worth
And
you
guys,
know,
another tip is like it's really easy to hire a cold caller and call
yeah.
this, because like I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but like my acquisition manager call asked me, because what I found is like agent don't remember your voice unless you guys been doing a few deals together. So like you can hire somebody that sounds kind of like you and just call them.
Mm-hmm.
They would just never know.
Yeah. They'll never know. Yeah.
If you don't remember their voice, they're not gonna remember yours. So like
Yeah.
I have so many times where like I would like take over a lead from my acquisition manager. I'm just gonna call ask them. Like they just couldn't tell the difference.
The trick with that, I think, is whatever number you're initially sending to them, if they are saving that contact or they're going to look at the text thread conversation or any of that type of thing, if that somehow that same number could do the follow-up calls, it's going to increase your answer rate, because otherwise they're just going to see another number. They're not going to answer it. You're going to leave a message and they're not going to remember whatever, they're not going to make the connection.
Yeah, they can call using the CRM from the number that.
There you
that we
go.
called
If
before.
they're doing the CRM, and then when they answer, they can simply just say, hey, I'm in Hugh's office. Do something to connect the dots. So be like, you and him spoke last week. You talked about XYZ. He asked me to give you a quick call and see if there's anything you got coming up, or if there's something I can do for you, whatever. Right. So anyway,
yeah,
small things, but what's so amazing, guys, and you'll see this when you listen to Hieu. It's not like he's doing one thing that is like getting all the results. He's consistently doing lots of small things. Every small thing is increasing a percentage, 5%, 10%. And then he's consistently implementing and he's getting massive results. So he's giving you, like, right now we're down on the weeds, very technical about how he's doing this business, the follow-ups, the days between follow-ups, text, phone, all these things. But when you put it all together, it can make a huge difference in the outcome, in the results. Okay. So I hope you guys are gathering that. Like, it's less about, well, is it 7 days or 8 days? Or do I say this or that? It's a little bit less about that. And it's more about, you got to stay in front of these agents. You got to be memorable. You got to do it enough to where they start to call you, right? It's a lot of little efforts compounded that end up getting the big results.
Right. And I would, to add on to that, like it was not perfect at all when I first started. It's literally a mess. It's just a system that texts them, like the text that like everybody else saying, hey, do you have any deals? I've done that for the past like 15 months until I go to get it and change. And so like it's we always keep trying to make it better, but like it doesn't have to be good to get you deals.
Yeah.
So.
It's sort of like, I tell people this all the time, when you get into this business, if you've got zero sales skills, it doesn't matter, because if you just get on the phones enough and you have enough conversations, you're going to get deals. then increase your sales and negotiating skills. And all that will do is it will improve your conversions.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be a master at sales or any of this to start getting deals. You just need to be at the right place at the right time and do it often enough. And that's how you'll get deals. I mean, guys, Hieu is an immigrant from Vietnam. He's got an accent. None of that has stopped him. He hasn't let that be a limitation whatsoever. In fact, I think it's probably a strength because you don't have any of these self-limiting beliefs. You know how to work hard, and you just come into the business. You're using your engineer mindset of looking at things, and you're implementing processes and systems and consistency, and it's working. It's working. Not perfectly all the time, but it's working.
Right. And to add on to that, if you guys, once you guys do it for like good enough, you can literally outsource. Like the cold calling is like the easiest, but like the most time consuming. So like that could be outsourced to anybody. Like the script I just showed you guys, it take like probably there's some like frequently asked question from agent that you have to overcome. Just like sellers, there's some objections that they say all the time, and it's really easy to overcome. But like it takes somebody probably 2 weeks to 30 days to like fully train on the script. And then once you do that, all you do is you probably can pay somebody between like 20 to 25 bucks an hour, I would say, to hire an actual American, like doing all these calls, building all these pipeline. And I would say once you hit probably about 500 agents in your system, then you're gonna see like a lot of results. I have right now we have about 3,000 in our system between all three.
And that's just in Georgia and just in the Atlanta metro.
Right,
Yeah.
correct.
That's crazy. Yeah.
But I think 500 is a good number. Whereas you probably a deal a month, or a deal every 2 months, and then all the tech is paying somebody 20 bucks an hour, calling like full time. And I think if you hire somebody that's like American native, but like they just happen to live in South America or something, like they live out of state, and they can $25 an hour go a real long way. Like
yeah. We have here in Tennessee, where I live now. We moved here to Knoxville, and I have a market here in Knoxville, and we found that if we hire our cold callers and everybody really, if they have a Southern accent, we go so much further. On the phone, setting appointments, all of it. There's something about people feeling more comfortable with somebody that has a Southern accent because we're in Tennessee. So, sometimes those things make a big difference.
Yep, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. Okay. So you've got that sequence, and that's working now once you've got somebody that's sort of like friendly. But I saw in your script, you've also got some things there. What happens if they're not open to it? Yeah.
Right. When I first starting out, my goal is to buy my first rental property when I first starting out. So I remember me being the new one. I called the agent and I asked him all the questions. I send them like a lot of properties to look at, and then I just never buy anything. Right. So it's a huge, I'm sure there's a lot of new investors that reach out to them all the time. So we do want to differentiate. Say, hey, like, I'm not going to waste your time. You don't have to drive me around. You don't have to look up properties for me. And like, spend time on those. Like, all I'm asking is if you have something that's we have a motivated seller, or if you have an ugly house that like could use a cash offer, just send me those, and then I'll make the offer and we can do a deal. Like, that's all I'm asking for.
Now, Hieu, we had talked about this. We had talked about this when you came out to the live training, but how are you adjusting your commission structure with these agents when they're off market? Meaning, how are you having that conversation around compensation with the seller paying it, or you paying it, or how are you doing that now?
So this is really market specific, but what I found at least from my market is once stuff hit the MLS, like the seller is going to pay like 99% of the time. So like when it's on market, I'm just going to assume that the seller pays just like before, because in my market, like nothing changed. Maybe in your market it's different. So that's on market, right? But for off market, I usually ask them, hey, I can pay you the 3% on the buyer side, or I can just let the seller like reduce the price from. I'm just gonna go unrepresented, so like the seller can net more money. Like, which one do you think is better? And say, hey, I'm gonna write the offer for you and represent your side too.
But you're not offering to pay them more than 3%? Do you ever offer them more?
I just say, hey, I'm gonna throw you the 3% from my side, from the buyer side. So I'm assuming the seller pay them 3% on the seller side, and I'm just gonna pay them 3% for my buyer side. And then and just let them decide if here's something that I think you should try. We're having tremendous success with this. What we'll say to that agent is we'll say, look,
if you list this for them, you're probably thinking about a 3% list fee. And then if I were to buy this and go through you, you're looking at another 3%. So I'll tell you what, how about I pay you the full 6% as if you were double dipping on a listing property? How does that sound? And now then I tell them, I say, look, the only thing is your commission, since I'm paying all of it, I just need to build that into my number. So make sure that you tell the seller, here's my investor's number. This is net to you. And then you just need to make sure that that's at a number where when you add on the 6%, you're at your end number you want to be at to wholesale. But Hieu, I'm even saying to agents, I'll throw this in there. I'll say, look, I'll even go up to 10% in a commission to you.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to price this out of the deal. So don't, let's be careful there. But I'm just saying, Mr. Agent, that I can pay the full commission and I can pay you both sides as if you were double dipping on a listing. And now what that's doing is I found that to go from 3% to 6%, it's going to greatly incentivize them. It's not that much money more. They'll sell it to the seller. They'll pitch it to the seller really hard because they're getting paid well. Yeah. So I don't know. You might find that you're getting a lot more results offering 6 or even more than just 3 only. Now, again, that might be a case by case basis.
Yeah, and good point, because to us it's the same whether we pay 3% or we pay 3% or we pay 10%. It doesn't really matter. We're just going to
doesn't matter.
Up, so it's the number works the same way.
Yeah, if your total number you want to pay is 100 and you're going to offer 10%, you would have to tell that agent you got to get the deal at 90 so that when I pay you 10, I land at 100, and that's where I need to be at ultimately. So you got to make sure you're clear about that so they're not confused. Yeah. But what I found is powerful is when the agent can go back to the seller and say, look, I've got an investor. They're willing to give me an as-is cash offer, close whenever you want, that pitch. And guess what, seller? They're going to cover my commission. You don't have to worry about it. You don't pay any commissions. That's a real value add for that agent to the seller when they can tell the seller that the seller doesn't have to pay any commissions. Even though the number is reflective of it, like it's a lower number, in a seller's mind, they're like, great, I don't have to pay commissions. I'll take 90. They're not thinking that it's just getting added in. They're just thinking, I don't have to pay the commission. This is awesome.
For sure.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Awesome. Just a thought there, but yeah, keep going, Hieu. What do you do next?
So maybe you want to talk about sales right now, conversion, or like you keep talking about lead generation. Which one do you want to go into next?
I think you've nailed lead gen really well, right? They're either going to say, I don't have anything right now. Then you follow up with them. If they say, hey, I do have a property that might work, you go through that. The only question is if an agent says, oh yeah, actually I've got a seller I'm working with that would entertain a cash offer. Do you transfer that over to the acquisition team? Or is the person doing the call acquisition?
So my goal to hire a cold caller is I want to train them eventually to become an acquisition manager, because making offers with agent is so easy. It's just like not as brain damage as making offers to agent, because the seller, because you don't have to like feel like the emotion of the seller. You have to like say you don't have to like push urgency and ask them to sign right away. So like to me, I feel like direct to seller closing require more skill than direct to agent, because the agent want to make money too. So like they're gonna do the selling for you. So like my goal when I hire a cold caller is I want to promote them to be an acquisition manager, like in the end, eventually. And there's 3 phases. The first one is they become a cold caller, and once they master cold calling, then I'll promote them to do also, like we call it, the discovery call as well. The discovery call is like we trying to find out everything about this house and the seller situation, but like we don't make the offer, right? So like after they master the cold calling, then we train them to do the discovery call, and maybe they just stop at that and they just pass the lead on to me, and then I close the deal, right? And eventually, once they master the discovery call, then we promote them to also like do the closing. And we can all go over the script for the discovery call as well, because I think this is gonna be great, because I really put a lot of thoughts into this. But yeah, when they're first starting out, if you're hire a new cold caller, then yeah, just have them do a
handoff. Yeah. Hand it off. Yeah.
But keep in mind they can take over the discovery part like over time.
The discovery is not overly complicated, because you're just finding out details, then bringing that to your acquisitions person. Yeah.
There's some nuances that I want to highlight because what you find is after you get about like 1,000 agent in your system, there's gonna be agent that send you BS deal and you want to throw those away like immediately because otherwise it's gonna suck a lot of time. So like the
Yeah.
discovery call is more important when you have a lot of deals,
Mhm.
a lot of leads already, and you want to just focus on like which one you spend more time on.
Mm.
So let me just share this right quick. So the first part is the discovery call. Like first you build rapport, right? Take like 10 seconds, like do it really quick, like don't drag on, but say something nice about them. Um and then so ask first I always ask the property address if they haven't sent those to me already. Like say, hey, I have a deal in Atlanta. Okay, cool. What's the address? Right. So
Yeah.
if he doesn't want to give us the address, which happens sometime, what I'll say is, hey, I'll ask them to send me a buyer broker agreement with that property in there. Maybe that's reassure them that we don't go around them and just make them
Yeah.
feel comfortable about sharing the address. If they cannot share, then ask why. Without the address, we couldn't do anything. So, and I say here, like the most common reason why agent don't share address is because they don't have a listing agreement. So that's why we need the buyer agreement to make sure that
Yeah.
they feel comfortable working with us, even when they don't have a listing agreement.
Now, quick caveat here, guys. Make sure that that buyer broker agreement is limited to just that specific property.
So I want to highlight property
Yeah.
specific buy broker
Yeah.
agreement right here. And yeah, they sometimes like they just talk to the neighbor, they don't have the listing agreement, so like they don't feel comfortable sharing with you. So I even say, hey, I understand that you might not have the listing agreement, but like, rest assured I can sign the buy agreement. And this way, for sure you'll get paid from me. Doesn't matter if it's
Mm-hmm.
you or not, you're gonna get paid. So like this is probably when we're gonna pitch like the 6%, like Jerry mentioned. When you go, especially if they don't have a listing agreement yet, it's really important to like pitch the 6% because you basically like tell them they're gonna get paid,
Yeah.
guaranteed. Um, so number three is this is probably like the most important question of all, like out of this script. Can you catch me up to speed with the seller situation on this one? Um, Make it
Yeah.
really vague, and the reason why we want it like that is we're trying to find out the motivation from the seller, right? Because if they have high price but like high motivation, we're still gonna pursue them really often. But if they have high price, low motivation, house clean, then we just follow up maybe one or two times and we just pass on to like
Mhm.
so like
You guys catch that? So the reason why Hugh's saying that is because oftentimes a seller will throw out a Zillow number or a retail number. But if you do your discovery properly and you uncover that there's motivation, and remember the pillars of motivation, right? There's some kind of distress going on, there's urgency, there's poor condition. Price is often a deceiver. So if you see those other pillars of motivation, but they're coming out with a higher number, more than likely in a lot of cases, that's not their real number. They'll actually take a much lower number. So just proceed as if they're willing to take a lower number.
And I think when you guys doing this at a high volume, you find yourself asking, okay, this let's say no, but like when should I follow up again? Like that question will come up, and
Mhm.
how I determine when to follow up is solely based on motivation. If they have a high motivation, I don't care about the price. I'm gonna check in again with them next week. But if they have a super low motivation, then I'm gonna follow up with it in 4 weeks and just space it out a little bit because I literally don't have time to follow up with everybody too often.
Yeah.
So like you have to decide at some point, okay, when is the next time I'm gonna talk to the seller again? So yeah, so we discovery call, make the quick offer, ask for counter, and then if it's close enough, then I'll run the numbers and I'll tell them like, hey, we can offer this. And then once you make the offer already, it's just like it's literally your process. We're asking about like the ARV, we're asking them their opinion on the repairs. And we say that the offer, like, I exactly just built my script for the offer from yours, so I don't feel like it's something special that we need to go into. But
Yeah. Yeah. If you guys don't know, basically what you're using ARV as a talking point. So you're going to talk about, okay, what do you think the value is? So you have some conversation around that. What do you think repairs are? So those are more, it's less about what the agent says. It really doesn't matter. It's more about building connection, having a talking point, justifying your low offer, right? So we talk about those things so that it all helps us lead to our offer. So, because what I found is if you get agents to agree with you on value and condition and cost of rehab, then and they're on your side, like it makes sense to them, Because if it doesn't make sense to them and they think you're just a lowballer, they're not going to go to bat for you. They're not going to really make an effort with the seller. But if they're like, you know what, he's got a good point. His offer, that number he's given me, that's actually pretty legit because there's value, there's a cost, it's going to be work, it's blah, blah, blah. So now I'm on board with Hieu and where he's at on price, I can pitch this to a seller.
Right. Yep. And I say like my close ratio is I think we tracked it a while back. I think for every 15 offers that we send out, we get one contract.
That's amazing.
And I think the reason why that's higher than most that you see out there, because most of my deals come from off market and going back to like, when you want to, get it before it's listed. So it's 1 in 15. So if you having agents sending you like a deal, like one lead a day, it takes like 15 days to get a deal.
To get a deal. Yeah, that's so promising. I love that. But remember, guys, 1 in 15, these are typically off market. Right. And this is after doing all of the work to build a pipeline and doing a lot of outreach, a lot of follow-up, and a lot of work to get to that conversation now where you have an opportunity to make an offer. So I would say by the time you're at a place where you're making an offer on something, you've done all the heavy lifting to get to that point. And that's the part that most people think they can avoid or skip is Hieu's built up this network of 500 agents before he's even starting to get any traction. Now he's built it to 3,000, and that 3,000 is turning into consistent, regular deal flow. But it's because he put in the work to get that funnel dialed in to where now he's having these quality conversations every single day. So it's sort of like, guys, take the time, build the engine, and then the thing will be.
And I'll say this is even better for someone working part-time because like you do a text model and you have the agent who's going to go out take photos for you. You don't have to like talk to the seller, kind of sign off for like live. So like it doesn't take time away from your actual work. You can just literally say, hey, I'm good with these terms. Can you lock it with the seller? And they'll do the closing for you, right? So
you're not going on appointment. You're not sitting at the kitchen table while the seller's telling you their life problems. Like you're not doing any of that.
Right.
You avoid all of that. The agent is that go-between. So it allows you to just stay strictly high level, strictly based on the funnel, the processes, and just, keep going again and again and again. You're not distracted by the nuances of direct to seller. There's a lot of nuance with direct to seller. You're dealing with that person directly, and you got to get into all the things, right? You got to get into all their problems, and you have to have empathy and right. So that all gets avoided when you're direct to agent.
And with the, a go high level system, you can basically tell the system when you want the text to be sent out. So like if you don't want to answer the phone during like, 8 to 12, then you can just tell the system, hey, only send out a text from 12 to 5. And this way it's sort of like you kind of control your hours when you want to work. It's worked really well with part-time because when I first started doing this, like I do this, I'm in real estate full-time, but I'm doing like rentals and flipping and all that crazy stuff. So like I only spend my part-time effort onto like building up the system to be, when it first starting out. So that's good to show like this could be done part-time. It's just going to take longer. And on the flip side, if you want to do it really, really fast, maybe you go through the script, you master it, and then you hire a cold caller right away and just go bananas, right? That's opposite side of this too. You can.
That's cool. Good. Well, this was fantastic, guys. I'm going to have, if you could share that, your scripts with us, that'd be awesome. And I'll share that with everybody.
Awesome.
But, awesome call, man. I'm just so proud of you, Hieu. I love how you've just dialed this in to the science of it all. And I love how you're just a sponge. You're always learning, you're always applying, you're always tweaking. And that's how you just get like 1% better every day, right? Or all the time. It's the small, you're at a place now where it's working. And so you just keep doing small incremental changes and efforts that start to compound. And that's how this business goes, guys. You do what you can with what you've got, you build on that, do what you can with that, build on that, and you just keep building. And it doesn't take long. I mean, you're talking 2023, you were ramped up by the end of 2023, a full year in 2024, and here you are, 1.3 million. It's just incredible. So
short period of time for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. So guys, leave a comment and say, Hieu, you're a flipping genius. And we're super proud of you. And keep in touch with me, Hieu. I'd love to hear your progress and how things are going for you.
We'll see you at Sweat Up.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you on the next call.
See you later.
Appreciate you. All right. Take care.